Right now, I am going to bring in Brian Boyle from the New York Rangers. Brian, what's going on?
What's up, Danny? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning? Hey, look, last time I had you on the show, Brian, you were not an HBO superstar, you know. So you're an HBO superstar now. How does that feel to be one of the faces of 24/7?
Well, there were some interesting characters on the show, that's for sure. I mean, I think you can look at Brizgalov, and you could probably say he stole the show for a while there. But no, it was cool getting some FaceTime, getting my family on there. It was a lot of fun to be a part of that.
And now, here's the biggest question I have when HBO does this with you guys. And I know we talked about this before on the show, but when the cameras are in the room, especially at intermission, and we saw during the first episode, Tortorella says to you, he says, Boyle, you got the mic on and you can't even think straight. Did things change when you're mic'd up? I mean, do people act differently when the cameras are in the room? How does that all work out?
Well, I mean, I didn't think I acted any differently. I made a mistake in the game, but I think when the mic was on me, the coach knew who had the mics on, and you were kind of under a microscope with the coach more than anybody else. So I think over the course of the series, I think it was like 3.5, 4 weeks, something.
Yeah.
As we started getting more and more comfortable with the guys and the crew, they were like a part of us, so it didn't really matter what they saw or heard. We kind of trusted them, and they weren't going to make us look bad, so they just kind of blended in. It was pretty good. Obviously, at first, it was a bit of an adjustment, but it was, as we got going, it wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, well, it's one of those situations, Tortorella's yelling at you guys in the locker room during intermission in the dressing room, and I do wonder, did the coach change at all? I mean, did personalities change? Would things have been said differently if the cameras weren't in the room? And it didn't look like he was holding any punches back. But would things have been differently during intermission? Did you notice anything different in that aspect from the coaching staff when the cameras were on?
Actually, again, no. I think that's what you get with Torts. That's exactly how he is. People didn't realize that he was that intense. But, as we're watching it doesn't, none of that. He's not holding back by any means, but he's not giving it to us more than he normally would either. He's very demanding. We've had success this year. We've been pretty good. I think we're tops in the Eastern Conference, or right up there anyways. And we don't pay too much attention to that, but we've had a pretty good season thus far, and it doesn't matter with him. He's going to make sure that we still, we keep on climbing, we keep on accumulating points, and that's the way he is. If we're not battling, if we're not competing, that's when he's going to be, the most, I guess, the most angry, the most fiery, or whatever you want to call it. If we're not getting bounces here and there, he's going to be positive. If we're not showing up to play physically, he's really going to give it to us.
Speaking with Brian Boyle, forward for the New York Rangers here on I'm Just Saying. The 24/7 series finale is tonight on HBO. Brian, you were in that an awful lot, and my other question to you about HBO would be, when these things air on Wednesday nights, and of course this week it's on Thursday, but when these things aired, were you guys sitting there watching together? You might have had a game, but did you DVR it? Did you watch? Did you pay attention to these things when they were on, or are you going to wait till afterwards and watch them?
I think for the most part, most of the guys watched it. We were really, and we're excited to. Obviously, we play Florida tonight. We're at home, but we're probably going to have to catch the later one, or have to catch it on DVR. But for the most part, every other one, we were pretty excited to watch it. I think we were in Washington, I believe, for the last game, or for the last episode. We all kind of came into my hotel room and watched it. It was, it's fun. It's fun to do as a team. I think it's a big thing. Just something we'll have, for the rest of our lives as a team, to be able to look back and see. And I think we were all really excited about the finished product, because they were there every single day. And, the last episode, I think we're really excited to see again, especially after the results of the Winter Classic and us winning, and kind of the drama that went down in the last 5 minutes of that game.
I'll get to that game in a minute, but when you did sit down and watch this 24/7 series, Bri, did you look at the Flyers? Do you hate the Flyers even more than you did before you watched it? Now getting to see what they're like in the locker room after games, especially after wins when they're playing a little Mac Miller?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team has a little goofiness to them when they get the win and you're feeling good. You put everything you have into the game and you can kind of let loose a little bit, but it's more so on the ice where we don't like them. I think it's become a pretty cool rivalry for the guys. I mean, it's been a storied rivalry, obviously throughout the years, but for the guys playing now, you kind of see all that. You go through it, and then you play on the big stage against this team. And we've beaten them 3 times now, and every time we play them, they seem to come with a little bit more, and there's a little bit more chippiness to the game, and different guys are stepping up, trying to be physical, and I think it's just going to lead to a big, even bigger rivalry for us. Starting a new story, a new chapter, I guess, if you will, on the Flyers-Rangers rivalry.
Speaking with Brian Boyle, New York Rangers forward, where'd you get that hat after the game? Who bought that? Where'd you get it? How did that come into play?
There's a bit of a story behind that hat, but I'm not sure how much of it I can give it away. I think the bottom line is we got it overseas, and we opened up the season in Europe, and we kind of just it's been beaten up a little bit throughout the season. We've had some wins, and we passed it around a little bit, but yeah, we got it over in Europe, and we decided to hand it out to the whoever had it last, whoever felt the next guy had the biggest impact on the game for the win. That's just kind of how we've been doing it.
Do you want to throw someone under the bus right now who got that hat, who either stole it or bought it or did however they took it? Do you want to throw someone under the bus right now, Bri?
Well, no, I mean, Brad Ritchie's got it.
Got it, okay.
It was kind of his thing. He came in, he's a veteran, obviously, he's a leader, but he came in, it was his idea. I'm not exactly sure on all the details on how we got the hat, but I don't think it was purchased.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll leave it at that. It seems like a touchy subject, obviously, but it's obviously good when you have something like that going after the game. I mean, here in Boston, we talked about last year the Bruins having sort of an old starter jacket, and then you watch 24/7. You have the hat. Flyers have their song. But to the game itself, the Winter Classic on Monday, had you played outside before, or was this the first time you played outside?
Well, I mean, other than the ponds, growing up, no, I haven't. I watched the BCBU game a couple years back at Fenway. Didn't even stay past the first period. It was cold, but this was something crazy. I'd never done anything like this. We had it was one of the most fun days ever. 25 or so people there watching the game, and the day before at practice they had, I think, a dozen people on the ice skating around after our practice was over. So it was one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to be a part of. I'm real happy and lucky that I got to be able to do it. How
was the ice out there?
For the practice on the first day, it got pretty choppy pretty quickly. It was warmer. For the game, I couldn't believe it. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well it held up.
Really?
It was to probably the very end. It was still, it was good. It was more so the atmosphere, not being able to hear kind of one another on the ice because it was so wide open, around the ice that caused the biggest adjustment. Usually it's louder on the ice surface itself, and that was kind of the biggest thing. You didn't know if the guy was right behind you or if you were going to get labeled or what. It was, that was kind of the biggest adjustment. And
you had a couple big goals from Mike Rupp, and then the first one, he gave a little celebration, and he stole it from Yaga. The salute, it was all in good fun. I loved every second of it. Some people, took exception to it. Someone like Scotty Hotnell had some words for Rupp. Did Rupp tell you he was going to do this celebration? Was this talked about before, or how did this go down?
No, he didn't. He didn't say anything, and I didn't really see it until I kind of had to look back at the replay. But I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. It wasn't showing anybody up. It was just kind of we're in Philly. This is what he's going to do. Obviously, Yager's going to be a Hall of Famer, and sure, he's got respect for him, but he didn't, obviously, he's the opponent right now, and Scotty Hotnell can't really say anything. The guy, he plays hard and all that, but he who is he to say, who's honor and respecting the game? He goes after the same certain guys after the whistle and scrums, and that it's just, he's not. He has no right to say that. It's just, Mike Rupp plays the game the right way. He plays hard. He plays it with honor. He scored a big goal for our team to get us back into the game, and he celebrated accordingly. And it wasn't, we all have respect for Yager. He played in New York, and we know, what he's done through his career. It's just, Hartnell can't really say much. And again, Hartnell plays hard. He's a good player, but it's just, he can't say anything there.
Yeah, and I've never seen anybody, and maybe this is just because of the 24/7 cameras pointed out, but I've never seen anybody try to go after guys after the final buzzer as much as he does.
Yeah, and he picks his battles pretty interestingly. You see who he goes after. No one really the guys he goes after don't necessarily fight very often. He just wants to get a few licks in, and he doesn't want to have to answer the bell for it, which is. He's an agitator, I guess, but he's a pretty good player, too. I don't know why he doesn't just play the game sometimes. But that's just, that's how it is. It's fine. And, you got guys like that on your team, and you got guys that want to stir the pot, and that's fine.
All right, Brad, finally, before I let you go, this is all 24/7 thing. You get a game tonight. You said you're going to DVR, watch the late one. The cameras are gone. Is it the best thing for this Rangers team, though, now that the cameras will be gone and sort of you don't have this whole HBO, star-studded event once a week? Is it almost best for this team that this thing is over? Are you glad that the 24/7 is over? As much as you enjoyed the experience, are you guys glad that the 24/7 thing is over?
Yeah, I think so. It was fun, and maybe it could last a little while longer, but, as the season gets going and the games get a little bit more and more important, we don't really need any more emphasis on what's going on and the importance of the games, kind of in the second half of the season, I guess. So it was definitely a blast, and I think they did a great job of representing us and the sport. I think a lot of people enjoyed watching it, so it's not something I'll ever forget. I think it was definitely a ton of fun, but now we just have to focus and make sure that, we don't need the HBO crew or the buzz around the Winter Classic to get us motivated for games. We got to start, getting focused for the second half, and remember that we need to win these games because we can flip quick in this league.
All right, Brian Boyle, New York Rangers forward. Brian, you guys obviously top team in the East. You guys are going to make a run this year, and I hope to get you on again later on in the season when you guys are making that run.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it, bud.
All right, thanks, Brian. Brian Boyle, New York Rangers. Right there joining me talking about 24/7 and interesting